Cool. So yeah, I already gave a brief introduction, but if you guys want to add on to that, that would be great.
Yeah, thank you Sandipan for inviting us. Hi everyone, this is Soumya. So I have been in the space of Web3 since 4 years now, working in the domains like growth marketing, community building, and user acquisition. I started back in 2020 in finance and then worked with YDX as well and several other ones and managers like Medix and Starkware. Currently I'm the director of growth at SupraOracles. So happy to chat on chain data, which is one of the crucial topics currently happening in Web3. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, thank you for having Chainbase over here, and thank you for having me as a panelist. My name is Luki. I am the product strategist at Chainbase. So Chainbase, basically, we are a data infrastructure provider. So what we do is we work with the developers, provide them with the on-chain data, decode, abstract, and process the data for them off-chain in order for them to build projects vertically. And on the other side, we engage with ecosystems as staker, as a sequencer, so that we can actually provide the security of the network. But startups, we do a little bit of everything. So my job description doesn't really describe what I do. Wherever it needs me, I'm there.
Nice. I think even in Web2, data is a very big topic in itself. But I think something in Web3 which is like upstart and upcoming, I think there's not a lot of conversations happening around data, and I think on-chain data never lies. So that's some of the coolest aspect of this data in Web3. But I would like to understand your guys' thoughts on what is the difference between the Web2 data and the Web3 data and the analytics and the handling of it.
So basically, to put it in a very simple way, Web2 and Web3 represent different paradigms of internet organization. So coming to something like a very basic thing, user data. So what is user data in Web2 is it limits your accessibility and flexibility in managing the user data. When it comes to Web2 ecosystem, because the third-party source or the governments or the service provider itself has a dominance of managing the user data. But when it comes to Web3, we are our own owners. We live in a very decentralized world. We have our own hash keys, private keys, and everything. So that's a very stellar difference. And coming to something like the contracts, let's talk about what is a contractual difference between a Web2 and a Web3. So in Web2, we have to write all the contracts through our own hands, and it's digitally, it can be tampered as well. And second thing in Web3, all the smart contracts makes the Web2 fallacies more efficient. Very good example is like we all have gone through a visa process. So through a visa process, we have to submit our passport and everything, then get an approval from the embassy, then we can travel. So all these components like an embassy, or let's just say first step of submitting the passport, can easily be solved by just putting a smart contract in place. So that's how I see the entire Web2 and Web3 difference. And the third most important thing is the tokenization. For Web2, I believe the only two main streams of revenue is ads and your daily cash flow through the revenue activities. But in Web3, we give an opportunity to everyone who is contributing to a blockchain through a very strong reward mechanism. A lot of DAOs are doing these days, having a good pyramidal DAO mechanisms, good reward structures to incentivize the users also to do that. So it is for the users, by the users, and with the users when it comes to Web3 intent than Web2.
Awesome. I think that really is one of the major differences. Your thoughts on that?
Well, you pretty much said everything I wanted to say. But I do have one thing I want to add. Web2 data, let's talk about extraction of the data. So the Web2 data, you really just need to use, like, when you extract the data, you use the APIs that's provided by the centralized servers. And there are times that there could be like degrees of limitation as well. But Web3, even though we celebrate the transparency, it's immutable and it's accessible, but it does require the understanding of a blockchain knowledge and smart contract interactions. So, but that also opens up all the possibilities of the reasons we're here, the reasons we're building all the tools to make it easy access for developers and projects to build things on top of the chains.
I think most of the time we only talk about creating contracts and writing on the blockchain, but I think many of the parts we ignore reading from the blockchain. And I think that is something most of the products also comes in. Yeah, we can dive a little bit more onto that. I think it's a perfect combination. We have one Oracle and one API provider. So, Soumya, if you can start with for the beginners here, what basically Oracle does and how does that contribute to the on-chain to bringing off-chain stuff to on-chain and a little bit about that.
I'll talk about something which is very relevant to this. At Supra, we do a lot of things, but which is very relevant to the theme is something that I would like to talk. So we have actually found the gap between a conventional Oracle and their fallacies and the shortcomings to provide lower latency or a higher throughput on-chain. So what we did is, through our heavy research work for several years, we have come up with the concept of Dora. What does Dora stand for? It is something like a decentralized Oracle aggregator. Dora brings consensus algorithm to the Oracle space. So I think this is pretty self-explanatory. If I bring consensus algorithm or the consensus mechanism in the Oracle space, it automatically takes care of my accuracy. So Dora actually generates price feeds up to, which assesses almost 21 data sources for getting a price feed. We use something like a BFD, which is Byzantine fault-tolerant algorithms, to come up with that entire access to the accurate data feeds. So Dora has actually helped us in the first step, like the aggregation of raw data, to the processing of the raw data, then the price feeds generation through that Dora decentralized Oracle agreement that we have built on. So I feel like on the on-chain data, Dora is the biggest, one of the stellar revolutions that was. And the best part is, it is so random that it is safeguarded by something called as a verifiable random function altogether. So both accuracy, security through VRFs is solved at one problem. So bringing down our consensus algorithm actually helps or enhances the oracles to give higher throughput and lower latency. So that is something that is very relevant to what I'm talking about in this panel, to what Supra is doing through Dora.
On that topic, like data, randomization of data, even that I think all of the devs here can relate to that, like hashing your block number with that. That's not a good way to do that, and that's where I think things like VRF comes in.
Absolutely. So VRF is currently main part is the consensus. Why I'm putting more emphasis on the consensus part? Because see, it's not only one data source that we are confirming the data. It's 21 data source through the BFT tolerant algorithms. So I feel like it is safeguarding and providing the accuracy at the same time. I mean, something which is immutable, it is not necessary that it has to be accurate or everything, right? So that's how Dora comes into play.
Verifiability and randomization, the two major things.
Yes.
On the topic of data with Chainbase, I think one of the coolest things which I was, when I was doing the talks, I saw is data sets, pre-built data sets into the product. Like that's something I don't think a lot of projects are doing, or it's a lot useful. So if you can talk about that.
Yeah, data sets. So the roots of Chainbase is to help the developers to build things in an easy way, to provide them the data that's actually accessible and usable, and also easy to understand. So we celebrate the accessibility of a blockchain, as I said, but a lot of the time when we get the data, we don't understand the data. So we need experts to decode the data. We need experts to actually customize the data for you in order for you to build things on top of the ecosystem you believe in. That's what Chainbase is coming into play, is we decode, we process the data for you the way that you prefer, so that you can utilize that piece of data without spending all the resources, and you can focus on building the things you want to. So that's actually how we can help the ecosystem all globally together with the data access and the data process we have, so that you can focus on the things you're building.
For sure. I think a major thing is also that Web3 is a new paradigm, but developers don't want to learn a lot of new stuff, and making them accessible just by direct APIs, which they're already familiar of. I think that's a clever way of onboarding and making the concept easier for developer onboarding. So I think that's also where I think when I was going to Chainbase talks, that stood out. So that's definitely for sure. I would say let's shift gears a little bit, and we can now talk about a little bit of the misconceptions of on-chain data. Like if you're, for example, I think Soumya, do oracles always tell the truth?
No, so unless you bring the consensus into the plane, no. First of all, being immutable it doesn't mean that you're perfect. Your data might be tamper-proof, hands down. It is step number one for me. How accurate your data is, and how fast your data is, and how strong the throughput is on chain, and what kind of benefits it provides. The thing is, making the data tamper-proof or something which is tamper-proof is the foundation of it. But things can't exactly grow only with the foundation on that thing. So what is the things that you're providing other than being tamper-proof? So that's how oracles come into. Because of the consensus mechanism, they solve the problem number 2, which is the throughput, and problem number 3, this is the entire latency, by providing accurate data, which is accumulated by not only one data source, but multiple data sources. So for this concept, I strongly believe interoperability is very much integral, because unless we exchange our information from other tabs to extended data sources, these step 2 and step 3 will always have a fault throughout. So interoperability and the entire consensus algorithm has to go hand in this. And second is, I would like to talk about is the entire tokenized. What kind of requirements you as a tab have? Someone needs the data that I need the data right now, or I need the data. Okay, I can wait, but I need the data for all the ones. So we at Supra have done something called as a pull and a push. Someone who needs right now data with that same level of accuracy, we are providing them the throughput of 200 milliseconds per price feed. And someone who needs our data together, we have almost 185 data pairs whose data can be pushed in a single DNS feed. So that is something which is very powerful that we are teaching. And as I mentioned, this is because of our moonshot consensus algorithm and the entire concept that we are building out. So yeah.
Also, like coming to the point of price feeds, it's like when by the way, guys, if you don't know, SupraOracles is the first Oracle provider on the Shardeum network, and like it's already added to our docs and all, and it will be supported in the upcoming networks also, both testnet and mainnet when we go mainnet. And so even changing from price feeds is just as simple as switching that request from that request. That's it. And, like the process has become so simpler nowadays. I think that
Exactly.
on that end, like what will you comment on changes?
Yeah, just what I mentioned earlier is that everyone thought it's so much easy to get the data from chains, which it could be if you know how to extract data from the different blockchain ecosystems. However, to understand the data, to understand each transactions and understand the dynamics of how the smart contracts interact with each other, you do need experts in the toolings in order to process the work you want to do. So I think that's the misunderstanding of the blockchain data. It's transparent, but it's not that easy to read.
Exactly. Yeah, like wrapping things up, like what are the, like in your products, what are the main things? I think there are a lot of developers sitting over here. What are the main product features they should try on? I think we already talked a little bit about those, but today when they go home, like when they open your docs, what's the first thing, what's the second thing, what's the third thing they should try on?
So I believe in general, anyone wants to discover something like an on-chain data. What is on-chain data? They should actually go to data analytics platforms like Bloom, Shardeum, or go to the docs, read through a text platform, text performance, trading volume, everything that you can find. Second is usage of APIs and node operators. See the node throughput analytics through any kind of node operators like Anchor, Alchemy, etc. And of course, you're most welcome to go through the DVRFs and all our DVRF nodes as well on price feeds that we are providing on Shardeum as well and other mainnets. So I believe this kind of study is more driven towards an analytical approach rather than being a theoretical approach. So I believe explore as many blockchain scans like Etherscan, BSC scans, go through the entire accuracy. Find cross-platform accuracy as well. If something is showing X value in each scan at a particular time, how accurate is that? Compare it with other scans as well to get the efficiency nodes in there. So it's a very analytical approach to go with the on-chain data. The entire name is having data, so it has to be data analytics altogether. So I believe this kind of approach can get a user or a developer more familiar towards what an on-chain data or what is the difference between transitioning ourselves from off-chain to on-chain data, their impact and everything. So,
Luki, Chainbase side.
Chainbase side, well, I will welcome you guys and invite you to come to chainbase.com. So we do have the user-friendly platform and you can sign up. And the first thing you can do is to try our data cloud. That's the studio we designed for you that decode the data and the abstract the data, even provide you with the raw data if you're very ambitious. So you can build your project on top of it. The second thing I would recommend is join our Discord because we are very centric on developers. We want to expand our network. We want to reach out to all of you and get feedback from you and build something together and stronger. So come to our Discord and come to our website, join the Twitter space in the future and give us the feedback. We can all build something together.
Awesome. And yeah, I think we are looking forward to both SupraOracles and Chainbase. Like SupraOracles already integrated and Chainbase are coming, so we're looking forward to the Shardeum devs using those and getting those things much more simplified way and interacting and cleaning data from the blockchain. Thanks a lot, you guys, for sharing your insights.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Thank you so
having
much.
us. Have a good day.